everyone, Kristina Werner here, and welcome to another STAMPtember 2020 exclusive video. This is the Purrfect Friends stamp set from My Favorite Things, and this is right up my alley because I love the kitties. So I'm also going to be using the slimline nested rectangles today. In fact, I'm using one of the smaller ones to cut out some white cardstock for my card. So I cut that out of some Nina Classic Crest 110-pound cardstock and then stamped, I think, all but one of the cats that's in the stamp set. I also stamped one of the greetings, and I positioned the cats a little bit lower on the right side so that I could put the greeting right above their heads. So I'm using some Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink because I plan to use Copic markers with this, and Intense Black is a Copic friendly ink. So I did stamp the greeting as well as all the cats twice to get really solid lines, and then I went in with all the coloring. Now, before I started coloring all these cats, I did look up online. I just Googled different colorings of cats so that I would have some different ideas on what colors to use. So this first one is a little tortie cat. I think that's what they called it. And just brown and kind of tan spots. These next two cats are colored like my two cats, Sophie and Daphne. So of all the cats on this card, two of them will look practically the same. So these are silver tabbies. They are American Shorthair cats, classic silver tabby coloring. And it's basically just a little bit more of a white face, a little more of a white tummy, and then gray and black. So that is their basic coloring. I did add some stripes to the forehead on the first cat, just because my two cats definitely have stripes on their foreheads. This next one is a little bit more like a brown tabby, kind of like my friend Jana's cat. Her cat's name is Gracie, and she has similar coloring to this, maybe with a little bit of a darker brown more prominently, but she also has those stripes on her forehead, so I made sure to add those as well. I made the bow on the first kitty with red. And I'll bring some more red in on the card later, and you'll see that. This last one is painted or colored, not painted, colored like a Bengal cat, which has kind of like a reddish brown base color and then dark terracotta red spots. I used a neutral gray color for the shading on this and then realized it looked a little funny, so I came back in with that same brown base color just to bring the warmth back into it. And for the background on this coloring area of the card, I used BG11, which is Moon White, and I knew as soon as I started coloring with it that my marker was going dry. But I persevered and kept going, and thankfully I was able to squeeze out enough ink to finish that background. For my card base, I'm using some soft navy cardstock from Simon, and I've cut it to be 7 inches by 8.5 and then scored it at 3.5 to create a slimline card. So I just used a bone folder to crease that fold, and then I prepped the card base with an anti-static pattern tool so that I could do some additional stamping. I thought it'd be fun to bring in the paw stamp from the stamp set and just have these paws sort of in an asymmetrical pattern, mostly to one side on the bottom, and then it will follow that diagonal line up to the top. And I just stamped all of these in some clear embossing ink from Simon. My plan is to just give it a little bit more interest on the card since it is rather simple. I used some gilded embossing powder from Brutus Monroe, sprinkled that on all of my stamped paws, and then used a heat tool to heat set that until the embossing powder was smooth and melted. I then decided to add a little bit of that gold embossing powder to the edge of my colored piece. So I just ran the edge right through my embossing ink pad. This adds just a little bit of that ink to the card, or to this piece of cardstock. And after I ran through all 4 sides, I sprinkled on some more of that gilded embossing powder and tapped off the excess. I used my heat tool to heat set this, and it heats up really super fast since it's just a little tiny bit on the edge of the cardstock. After that was done, I put some foam adhesive on the back and then pressed that down onto my card. Now, I wanted to bring a little more red into my card design since I had that red bow. So I have some pre-cut hearts using Simon's mini heart to die set, and I had some red glitter hearts. I think this was cut out of some Simon Says Stamp red glitter paper, and I cut a little tiny piece of foam tape to go behind the heart and then press that down onto my card, just filling that nice little gap over there on the right side. And that's the card for today. Just a reminder that this is a STAMPtember exclusive stamp set for My Favorite Things. So if you love this stamp set, you'll want to grab it as soon as you can. Once the stamp set sells out, it's gone forever. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in another video very soon.